So what are you learning about this team through 2 days?
Well, I think, the message, I talked a little bit about it yesterday, but the message for us is getting down to work, embracing things like fundamentals, basics, routine, laying down building blocks. And when you start emphasizing those things, a lot of time in practices, you have to do it at a high pace and a high volume early in the year. So I've been impressed with the fellas' work ethics. I thought our attention to detail has been good. We've gotten some good teaching in as well as getting the work rate up, and it's been a positive first 2 days.
Everyone knows about kind of the salary cap, how tight it is here. And I just wonder from a coaching perspective, do you consider that at all in terms of evaluations? Because it kind of has to play into it at some level, but does it for you?
Not really. I said this yesterday. I was asked a question about Darnell, and I said contracts, salary caps, that doesn't affect me. I kind of approach it similar to when I was down in Bakersfield in the American Hockey League, and I would say, I don't worry about people until they're right in front of me. So I'm not going to presuppose anything or worry about situations that might occur or might not occur. I think, we've had a good first 2 days of training camp, and we'll let those battles play itself out or themselves out over these next 2.5 weeks. And, I think, as we let them play out, the answers become clear.
I know you said yesterday about, maybe giving somebody like Dylan Holloway an opportunity to go up in the lineup. But I just wonder how much, flexibility or switching up of the lines you think you might want to do throughout the course of camp to see where things kind of shape.
Yeah, I think in the first couple of days, I want everybody to just kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm. So there hasn't been a ton of tinkering with the lines, so to speak. I think he's with two really good hockey players right now in a line that looks like it has the makings of a good line. But I think as we get into the next phase of camp, we have one more day where we're going to practice and we're going to have an internal blue and white scrimmage. But as we get into playing some exhibition games starting on Sunday afternoon, that's 5 exhibition games in a short period of time. So we're going to pull from different lines to create lineups for each evening. And I would expect certain players to move and play with different people as they work their way through those first 5 games. Hey, Reed.
Jay, if you look at where Stuart Skinner was drafted and how he performed in junior, he was projected that one day he was going to be a full-time NHL goaltender. Looks very much like he'll get that chance this year. Not everybody who's projected to do that, though, is able to accomplish it. What allowed Stuart to get from there to here?
Yeah, I'm fortunate because I've seen Stuart hit every developmental stage along the way to get to this point. First of all, I would credit our scouting staff for finding a goaltender of his ability that late in the draft. I would credit our goaltending department that spent a lot of time with Stuart going back to his days as a junior hockey player. I was fortunate to coach Stuart in his first year of professional, and that wasn't an easy year for him. He spent some time in the East Coast Hockey League. When he did come to Bakersfield, he wasn't asked to play in a prominent role, yet I still felt comfortable about playing him in the second round of a 7-game playoff series in the American Hockey League. I felt comfortable doing that. And then as he worked his way through the next couple of years, he established himself as a legit starting goaltender in the American Hockey League. I saw him win a division. I saw him grow as a hockey goaltender, and I saw him grow as a person over that time. It's a credit to all the hard work that he's put in, that he's positioning himself to where he is right now.
The scrimmage tomorrow, it's day 3 on the ice.
Yep.
It's going to be, but what would you really like to see in that scrimmage? A couple things.
Yeah, I want to see a level of competition. If you've been watching our first few practices here, and I said it yesterday, one of our goals in camp was to compete versus each other so that we're ready to compete for each other starting on Sunday afternoon. So to me, as a coaching staff, I know we're taking it seriously. We want to see people separate themselves at different positions. And in order to do that, there has to be a high level of competition in that scrimmage. So we're looking to get something accomplished tomorrow. And that accomplishment is to compete at a higher level than we did today.
Jay, just listening to your voice, and listening to you out there, you're pretty vocal so far and pushing the guys and pace. We notice all that. But how have you found through your evolution as a coach to find the right balance, when to push, when to dial it back, and timing in camp as well, and how that works out for you?
Yeah, I think that comes through experience. I had some really good teachers along the way and worked in some really good organizations, saw how different people approached these types of situations. In Bakersfield, obviously, had the ability to run my own training camp in Bakersfield for the last 3.5 years or so. So had that experience, and that's almost like a laboratory where you're, experimenting how much to push, how much to, take the foot off the gas a little bit. I think the one thing we wanted to make sure is that, that this is a competitive camp, that we let our players know there's jobs here. There's ice time here. There's special team or privileged ice time here. So in order to do that, I want to see them compete versus each other. So the work rate has to be at a certain level. Yet at the same time, I want to make sure we're a team and an organization that values an intelligently applied work ethic. So we're not looking to bury anybody on the first day. I don't want to see half our team in the trainer's room with sore groins and sore hip flexors. We want to build and use our time wisely. But again, I'd go back to that intelligently applied work ethic.
Jay, you've been around Stuart Skinner for a few years. What's his demeanor like around the rink?
Yeah, well, first of all, you guys have been around him. He has a presence. He's a physically in shape, large man. So you first, anytime you shake his hand, you realize how big this individual is. It's obvious that he puts a lot of work into caring for his shape and being ready to compete at a high level. I think his comportment off the ice, like I said, I've seen this young man mature. I've seen him get engaged. I've seen him get married. He's hit some different life stages along the way here. I see somebody who's confident, somebody who feels confident because he's earned the right to feel confident. Put a lot of work in, and it's a credit to him.
Jay,
Hey, hi, Jim.
how do you look at your veteran guys in training camp as to how many games they play? Like Connor and Leon say.
Yeah, I think that goes almost back to Tom's question too, just from an experience level, understanding what you want to accomplish. It's a conversation or a dialogue with some of our more experienced people to see where they're at and what they might need in order to be prepared for when the regular season starts. So that is a dialogue. And then there's also the fact that we have to ice lineups in, 8 preseason hockey games. So you weigh all that and you try and have a game plan, but take it one day at a time too, because you never know what happens, who separates themselves, if there's any, lingering issues injury-wise, that type of thing.
As a coach, do you look at some of the younger guys and they get hurt all this soon? Carter Savoy's hurt, Tullio's hurt. Desharnais was hurt last year at training camp too, as I recall. Is it the same situation with Desharnais, or is it something else?
No, he tweaked something. Minor. It's just it's one of those, time has to help him heal on that. But he did it in our captain skates, so it's not something like is the same issue that he had the previous year. Savoy and Tullio, we expect He's starting to feel a lot better after he was injured in Penticton. Savoy might be a little bit longer term with him. I'm waiting to hear back exactly from our doctors what the pitcher had to say when he had a pitcher taken.
And Lavoie?
And Lavoie got hurt at the end of last season in Bakersfield. He had a procedure. He's put a lot of work in to get healthy. He won't partake in training camp here in Edmonton. He's a little bit longer term. I think he'll start getting back on the ice when that first wave of players goes down to Bakersfield.
Thank you.
Yep. Good. Thanks, guys.